Oops. Do what?
I messed with this. I just hit it.
That's alright, that's your drag. Oh, he got off. No, it's about the same as that other one. They're not getting it in their mouth, they're just barely getting it. Keep filling them though. They're not biting, they're not attacking it, I guess. Oh, goodness, what was that?
Where'd you get it at?
Yeah, he followed it out. You ready? That's a good one. Burner craw and WooTungsten. Hey, welcome back everyone. Alright, well, this last video we had a little bit of technical difficulties. Didn't really get an intro. I don't know what was going on. Didn't get the intro. Battery dies towards the end. Had to use my cell phone. Our outro, I did our little talk at the end at the truck when I changed the battery out. And all in all, it just wasn't very good for the camera part of it. But what we ended up doing was we went back home for the weekend to visit family because I'm going to be on call for Mother's Day, so we took this opportunity to go down and visit, and went down to see my grandma, and ended up going and fishing at the pond that I grew up fishing with my grandpa. Spent many summers down there with him fishing with my dad. It's where I also got the kids started in fishing, so it's a pretty special place down there. Really good fish down there. My grandpa, he stocked it with some Florida hybrids for several years, and we just pretty much took really good care of it, and got some really good quality fish. Tyler's 6-pounder that's actually in the intro that he's holding up was from that pond. There's been some 7 and 8s out of there. I know there's bigger ones than that that's busted in my grandpa's line, and he was able to get them in usually. So really good fish. The only bad thing is we go down there, and I already knew that we've had some storms come through. I just wasn't sure how bad it was down that way. They got a lot of rainfall. This is a spring-fed pond. It's usually a darker color. You can see a few feet visible. It was very, 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 very muddy, as you'll be able to see throughout the video. It's just the water level was high, very, very dirty, a lot different than anything I'm used to fishing at. Other thing is I usually fish wood cover. That's usually a pretty good area down there, and spawn is usually done and over with by now. And with our crazy Oklahoma weather we've been having, the weather has been so crazy that, you know, everywhere is having, the spawns are a little bit off, I think it has a little bit to do with it. But I've noticed that I thought it would be past it, but as I got to fishing through there, they just weren't doing what I was expecting them to be doing. They were actually, you know, just like they would be getting ready to spawn, or right during the spawn, they'll grab the bait and they just kind of swim off with it to remove it, and then they'll, you know, go drop it off somewhere. That's pretty much what was going on. So it took me a couple of misses to figure that out, because as soon as I would film, it was a real light bite, and they weren't crushing it, they weren't, you know, attacking it, you know, weren't feeding off of it. It's just a real light. It almost felt like he was dragging into, you know, some brush or weeds, heavy weeds, and so you just feel a kind of a tick. So what I ended up doing was I would reel into it and get that line heavy, and then once that rod would start loading up, then I would set the hook, and ended up getting the fish after that. So you'll hear me through the video kind of talking about how the bite has been, and kind of explaining to Tyler, you know, because once you feel it, you know, explain to him what to do. So that's my experience dealing with the spawning, is that's usually what they're doing, is just trying to remove the threat away from their area, and that's the only way that I've really had good success with catching those fish. Now, what we were using was the Gambler's burner craw and green pumpkin chartreuse tip. Tyler was using a jig with a little bit of darker, more of a llama crawdad color. And he was getting some ticks, but he wasn't getting anything good enough to get a hold of them. So this was our go-to. I was Texas rigging this with a Trocar TK130 flipping hook. Had it paired with a 3/8 ounce tungsten from WooTungsten. I was using 40-pound braid, Suffix, and a 22-pound FC structure. I think later at the end of the video I talk about it being flipping braid, or flipping fluorocarbon, but it's actually structure, FC structure by Sunline. It was a really good combination. This has got a garlic scent to it, so like I say, especially when they're doing that spawning and they're trying to remove the threat, this is something that they don't mind keeping in their mouth, because it's got that garlic scent. And you know, once they get a hold of it to move it, and as you're trying to pull it away, they'll just start clamping harder and harder down on it, and that'll give you a better hook set for when you do rip it up. Like I say, I was Texas rigging it with that TK130. It's got a real heavy pin on it, and it'll rip this up after a couple, probably 2 or 3 bites. But all I did was bit that off. It gives it a smaller profile, but it still works well. So you can get quite a few fish off of one, and I got 2 left out of this bag. And other than that, I mean, it was about 90 degrees outside. No clouds, straight, just hot, clear blue skies, and they were up on the bank still, so that's another reason why. And when we were figuring it out, I could almost guarantee where a fish would be. They were just next to small grass areas on points, and along the banks, anywhere that it would kind of come out just a little bit and there was some grass on it, they were sitting there. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Sorry it kind of all didn't go together, but I'm doing my editing now, so it'll be up shortly, and hope that give you something good to watch, and I'll let you get back to the video. you can throw it over there too, next to that bank. When you feel them biting it, you need to, when you feel them biting it, you just need to hold pressure, and you'll feel it get tighter, 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 and then you set the hook, because they're not biting it real hard. Look at that one. Ready? Oh. See them taking it? See, they're not biting it, they're swimming with it.
That's about the same size that we've seen last time.
See? I'm not getting a good hook. They're not, I mean, they're taking it in, but they're not choking it. They're just holding it in their mouth. Oh, I see a fishy. Got him. I seen him boil up. Pretty good size, maybe. Not bad. I didn't have him hooked good either. Yeah. There he is. Oh, that's a nicer one. Oh yeah. No, he's not that big. Oh, got him hooked a little better. Pull, pull. Keep it tight. Keep the rod tip down and keep reeling it in real fast. Reel, reel, reel. And when you get him over here, just move him over to me. Look there. You got him on the side too. Alright, we're going to wrap this up. We did pretty good. Battery died there towards the end, so we didn't get the very end of it. We caught a few more. Tyler caught some more. I gave him my rod. I had a Texas rig instead of redoing his. We just let him do that because it was towards the very end. We were trying to get out of here. We just figured them out at the very end. They were on the bank, a little bit of grass, so pretty much every time we put in one, we was getting hooked on. They weren't biting aggressively. They're pretty much just moving them away. So you just had to tight line it and then go with sweep to make sure they had it in the mouth pretty good. Caught a few good ones. I'm not sure what that one weighed. Maybe 2 3/4, almost 3, somewhere around in there maybe. So that was probably our best one. All in all, pretty happy. Had a good time. Spent a few hours just me and Tyler. Everybody else didn't feel like coming out, so they lost out. But the main one that was getting the bites was the Gambler Lures Burner Crawl. Did really good. Did a little chartreuse on the tail on the pinchers, and with this cloudy water, real muddy water, it worked out pretty good. So that jig, getting some bites, but they just rang on. So that was probably our number one. So, and we had that paired up with WooTungsten. I did a 1/2 ounce, and I had it pegged. So that was our setup. Also, I think it was a Trocar 110, I believe, flipping hook, straight shank. Good setup, 22-pound fluorocarbon, CFC, Sunline. It's the flipping fluorocarbon, and I had 40-pound braid. So that was a pretty good combo. Worked out pretty good. Had a good time. So that's going to be it, and hope y'all have a good one. And like I always say, have some fun and go catch some fish. See ya!